We are two brothers making a 3D isometric Souls-like Vampire Survivors clone about the future of humanity, consciousness, Earth, and the cosmos. It started with a simple Vampire Survivor clone with non-animated, non-isometric sprites, but it quickly got out of hand.
We never really got anything to market.
We've never shipped anything.
Ship it.
That's kind of been the mantra of this phase of trying to create root code, has been ship it.
So we can look back on this one day and say, I just shipped my pants.
I just shipped my game. We had checked out Unreal, we had checked out Unity, and for me being like a noob, Godot is a little bit more accessible.
Godot's great.
It's great.
And Godot 4 is great. You sold me on Vampire Survivors. I played it. It was very addictive and fun. It's like dinky graphics. So we did it. We made a clone.
Started with nothing animated, little sprites moving around with no animation.
Stress testing, like all of the little area 2Ds colliding with each other and little ruins.
So we were also wanting to literally use AI somehow to be leveraged.
Before that.
Yeah, as part of deciding the concept. And so we were using Midjourney to generate assets. We were playing with using AI generative imagery.
And so it became isometric.
So because that's what Midjourney kind of spit out, and so we got that prototype.
Because Vampire Survivors is like it's kind of isometric-esque, right?
It has that vibe.
It is isometric.
It's not just top down.
It's not 45 degrees isometric. It's like, it's not top down and it's not a side scroller, so it's kind of isometric-y.
We have the concept, we have kind of even a prototype, but what I felt we kept running up against is good art. Like, you're a master coder, you can make a game feel good, but the art, the animation is like this huge part, and so that led me down the road of 3D models. And that's how we found the robot model Stan.
Oh,
and we made those
started
into
making them into sprites.
And that required and I want to tell, since this is a devlog, I think people want to geek out with us. Like, I don't know any Blender. You're really good at 3D modeling, but we set up like a virtual studio in Blender to put the 3D models in at a perfect isometric angle, and then essentially just export those as frames, as ping frames, but for
turn those into animated sprites.
Yeah, but for 8 directions.
8 directions and like dozens of potential animation sequences for each model across several models, and it was like, then you want to change one thing, you got to re-export 1,000 images, and it's just
for the walk.
It seems silly.
There's 8 different directions, and then for the attack and the sword, and so
so we'll show what that looked like. It looked fine, but we got to a point where we're like, this is a pain in the ass. Is it less of a pain in the ass to just do it in a 3D engine with the node 3D and the character 3D and all those 3D camera, and it was
also Godot 4, Godot 3.
Yeah, we were trying to do Godot 3 so that we could have web app. But now I guess we were losing reasons to stick to Godot 3.
I felt like we actually felt proud because there was some music, there was sounds, we had the gem recoil, cool. We had enemy patterns, we had different, it was cool to see.
Clone.
But it was also a little jittery because it was frame by frame animation. But we got it to this beta prototype thing. And so then we made the choice. We moved over to Godot 4, we moved over to 3D, and then that was immediately awesome. It took some work to get everything, but
and then you could just use all those animations.
Shadows,
the lights and shadows were great. I'm sorry.
So, okay. I mean, that catches us up to at least starting down the 3D route, which was immediately pretty satisfying to have shadows and just the options. But then
particle effects for sparks now, and
and we had to then go down the rabbit hole of blend trees, blending animations.
Which is great.
It's just been a learning experience for me, especially just seeing all those aspects and seeing how important it is that the art, the sound, and the actual coding behind the movement is so important in the experience of the immersion, or feeling janky or feeling fun. It's like, and so what's been amazing is you've just massaged kind of, we did like I did a cacophonous splattering of ideas, and then you would go through and actually make stuff work and like polish it. And where it's gotten to now is like this pretty tight feeling.
With like actual
demo.
Fists colliding and swords with collision objects and sparks when they hit.
So I'm curious, what are some of the features that you're most interested in or think would be most interesting to show people? Like, I can think of the sword being kind of interesting as one.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Can you talk about that?
The sword with the power curves and the collision shape grows. And then it has the slash effect, visual slash.
Yeah, so the sword isn't just a cylinder collision shape, like a cylinder around the sword, which is how I did it.
It is a capsule.
You put a sphere at the end.
So it's a capsule. If the radius and the height are equal, it turns into a sphere, but it is a capsule.
So, okay, if the radius and the height are the same, then it turns into a sphere. Which is interesting because that's an example of it didn't feel like it was, because we're using collision to actually affect the enemy, it didn't really feel good to attack people that way. But with you doing that
yeah, so
thing,
as you're slashing, it just gets bigger so that you're kind of like, you don't have to be so precise about where you're aiming to slash.
Yeah.
Because it's not a first-person shooter. But the power curve is, because remember, there's like the backstroke first and then the slash.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let it do damage on the backstroke, it was like, it's annoying, right?
Yeah, you kind of want the like boom attack,
right, yeah.
not the. It's not like what we call jousting.
Yeah,
it's not that it became a joust.
Hot sticking a bunch of people and then throwing them away. I gotta put you.
Yeah, I think it was something. Yeah, so it's interesting, but we're playing with different ideas, right? Loosely around the concept of like nature, AI, a future where the Earth is on
trying
the verge
to take
of,
back.
Yeah, well, the Earth is on the verge of destruction due to AI and technology, but you're also leveraging the AI robot technology to fight back, and so there's some interesting interplay there.
Yeah, we haven't programmed in the mind hack
Weapon
turnaround, but we have all these behaviors, and that's what really drives me the most. It's like, okay, we got the basic mechanics of leveling up weapons, leveling up enemies, leveling up the hero. Swappable behaviors with different toggles. There's lots of dials and knobs to turn. We can fine tune all the power upgrade curves and like difficulty curves. Those are all in place. So now that those are all in place, I'm really excited to focus on this kind of not totally non-linear story, but like a story with two branches. Let's say there's two ways you can play.
Some freedom for the player.
Yeah, but there's like a definite objective.
Yeah.
And there's like stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and you win the game.
And I want to hide lore in the game in different places so that it's the vampire survivor vibe of growing more powerful, being able to take on hordes of enemies, but there's this narrative component.
There's a reason to do that.
Yeah, and it's for people who want to explore, we'll give them some things. So thank you for watching our first devlog. I'm Kaylee Marks. This is my older brother.
I'm Jaya Marks.
And we're Symbolic Studios? Or Symbolic?
Symbolic.
Symbolic Games.